Hi. Hello. How you doing? So, I hope this gets easier. I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Um, Several things that kind of tie into each other. Um, so I don't know if, you've seen a lot of TikToks featuring, younger kids and stuff, but there's been a trend, kind of aimed at young girls, and it's really disturbing. If you ever see someone comment, I bet it's bubblegum pink, that is a pedophile's term for a little girl's genitalia color. Guys have this kind of fascination with the color of a girl's genitals as she grows up. The pinker it is, the younger and less experienced, and like the more brown and roast beef, it's old and used up or whatever. We all know that's not how girls work. I'm personally a lover of porn, of degeneracy in general. I'm an enjoyer of sex toys and sex dolls. And, as I was saying, this all kind of ties in together. Speaking of bubblegum pink, sex dolls are, they're getting young, like real young. I'll put up a couple of pictures if I can learn how to edit this shit. Toddler sex dolls. You can find them literally on Amazon. I have found so many sex doll sites, and usually I'm all about that. I love a beautiful, like, inanimate goddess, especially the anime waifus, deep in my heart for me. But why are people making child sex dolls? I know there's some different and like more experience oriented therapy for pedophiles, but I don't think that a child sex doll is going to help that. And you know what, maybe it does, but don't you think you should have a prescription or something if you're gonna delve into something that degenerate? Like, oh god, why? It's disgusting. People keep shouting about trans and LGBT people grooming their kids and being pedophiles and all that bullshit. Meanwhile, Sex Dolls Anonymous or whatever, literally every store has mini sex dolls or small sex dolls. They're all under 4 foot. A lot of them are under 3. And they're life size. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of predatory pedophiles online commenting on young girls, Instagram and TikTok, just perfectly adorable videos of little girls being proud of something that they accomplished, or like doing a jump, like a tumble or something. You know how kids are. They just want to have fun. And there's these fucking creepy ass motherfuckers going around commenting on their genitalia. That's fucking disgusting. It really pisses me off. Oh, there's another saying, it's grippy. Have any of you heard that one? That's real gross. So that's one of my main main things. I really fucking hate it. That kind of ties into another thing I want to talk about. Kind of the Lolita and Shota Khan in anime. We'll just say Boku no Piku, and don't look it up. Oh, fuck. This will eventually get easier, I hope. So that kind of aside, that's fucking gross. Like, why do we keep sexualizing kids? I mean, I have been looking into this a little bit more, and it's fucking gross how, like, in the 1800s, the U.S., like, age of sexual consent was, like, 10 years old, and it was fucking 7 years old in Delaware. That's, like, why? Like, right now, you can literally marry a child off to be raped, and literally the only difference between a crime being committed and totally just whatever is a fucking certificate that says you can do so. So, like, it's so fucking annoying. You can literally marry a kid and you can fuck them, no problem, legally. Just children are uniquely vulnerable. Like, parents would rather fucking marry them off to some creepy ass motherfucker who rapes them rather than have an unwed mother or a child out of wedlock. What is wrong with us? I don't understand. So much of this just pisses me off. God, it just... So there's child marriage, and it's just, I'm sorry, I'm kind of, it's so easy for me to get like super foggy about all this stuff. Like, as soon as I start thinking about it, I just automatically want to dissociate. I don't know if I mentioned that previously, but dissociation is basically where you're like, some people say they leave their body. I kind of retreat into mine. I have a really good imagination, so I'm able to like just go someplace that's easier, and that it's something I have to literally fight to keep out of when going about my daily activities, but also like when I'm talking about stuff like this. It's very it's distressing. A lot of child victims never recover. I'm hoping that maybe someday I do, but you know, I like to keep my expectations low. That way, you know, anytime they're surpassed, I'm just like, hey, that's awesome. So here's kind of a spicier hot take. Well, I'm in Texas. I live in Texas. And the whole abortion ban has been incredibly difficult on so many people, but especially child rape victims. We do not have a rape exception. There is a law on the books that can actually terminate the rapist's parental rights, but that's only if, like, there's clear and convincing evidence. And you know how that can go. Like, what is it? Rain.org. They have a whole bunch of statistics. Like, out of 1,000 rapes that occur, 975 rapists walk away. And we still put people in jail for weed. I find that really backwards. I find so much of what we're talking about today and what our society is today is backwards. It's so fucking disgusting. You know, just, sorry, my little hot take. Got your setup. So, my personal view is that forced pregnancy and birth is a type of rape. It is also an act of genocide. It may not necessarily be intended as an act of genocide, but when you rape someone and that person becomes pregnant, if they don't commit suicide, if they aren't able to get an abortion, they are forced to live with that rapist's child. And there are so many mothers who, you know, have this happen to them, like 3 million, like, so many, like 400, I think it was like a 430 something thousand women experience rape related pregnancies each year. I'll have to double check on that. I'll list the statistics here, but it's disturbing. Like, we as people find it so uncomfortable to talk about, and we think that the people who commit these things are just monsters and, you know, the stranger lurking in the dark alley. But that's not the case. And, you know, I'll say it till the cows come home. You want to come up? Yeah. Oh, so good kitty. This is my kitty. Say hi, Martina. She's my little nurse kitty. She's very good at sensing emotions. But I lost my train of thought. Right, when you rape someone, they are forced to live with that for the rest of their lives. It affects not just the survivor, but their entire family, the child especially. You know, a mother can give them so much love, and she can't control the outside influences. Like, what if, say, she has a partner who didn't want that child? I mean, obviously, I can see why. You see that, and she decides to have the baby, and he ends up resenting the child. Or, you know, there's so much, like, different types of abusive situations that can happen to that child. And when a child is assaulted and raped, abused on the regular, they grow up thinking it's normal, and it's really sad. Oh yeah, Here's a fun little fact. A lot of rapists can sue people for parental rights. Yep. You know, thankfully in Texas there is at least a protection. You got me all fuzzy. There is a slight protection, I guess. You can terminate your rapist parental rights, but you have to have clear and convincing evidence, kind of like what I said earlier. Which, again, the whole out of 1,975 walk free, it's going to be real hard to prove that your child is the result of a rape. I mean, because just going through a rape trial itself is hard enough. Like, I never did it. I never had the bravery for that. But the girls who go through it, the people who go through it, men and women both, like, it's absolutely incredible. You are so brave you stand up for the rest of us. I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. So I was talking about child marriages. Let's talk about child pregnancies. Greg Abbott likes to talk about, oh, we'll end rape. Good luck on that, Greg. I kind of hope you do, but I don't see that happening. Children are raped quite often, more than any of us like to think. I know this personally. Many of you also know it. The youngest mother in history was 5 years old. Let that sink in. She was 5. She never revealed the father. She never revealed the circumstances. I mean, obviously, the circumstance is rape. That's a 5-year-old child. I think she was 5 years and 7 months when she gave birth. So that means she was 4 years old when she conceived. She had to give birth via cesarean section because her little body couldn't pass a fucking human infant. Another girl, she was actually forced to marry her rapist. That happens so much, especially in the like fundamentalist communities, like Christian, Jewish, and Muslim. Like, I don't understand why you think it's okay to let a little girl get married. Like, I don't understand why you don't care about like her at all. You don't care about any of those kids getting hurt. And that's bullshit. I know there's been a lot of shit happening the last few years. You know, COVID and, you know, all that other bullshit. It's all kind of just compounded into each other, and it's made us callous. Like, every time I see a homeless person, even, like, I get so fucking mad at our government. I don't understand how we can just let people be out there in the cold and to look down on them. I'm getting sidetracked. I will eventually, like, talk about that stuff too, because so many homeless people are rape victims. So many homeless people are veterans. People with mental illness, PTSD, complex PTSD, bipolar, borderline personality, DID, major depressive disorder. Like, it's just, these people go through so much and then they end up on the streets, having people look down on them. And a lot of women on the streets get sexually assaulted again and again. It's just a never-ending cycle of bullshit. The 5-year-old mother who gave birth, her name was Lena Medina. She never wanted any publicity. She didn't want anything to do with media. She didn't want any interviews. If she were alive today, she'd be around 80-ish, a little over 80. And the other girl, she gave birth when she was 10 years old. Sherry Johnson. Forced to marry her rapist and have 9 other children when she was 11. And you know, 2 out of 3 child marriages don't last. I hope that's because the victim is able to get out of it and, you know, find a better life. But so many end up just on the streets, or you know, with family that ends up abusing them again. It's a never-ending cycle. You know, children historically have been basically human society's punching bags. Well, children, black people, brown people, literally everyone except for like white cis het passing men. Historically, you know, I said earlier that in the 1800s, the age of consent was 10 years old in most states of the U.S. Younger in some. There's a lot of extra abuse that goes on for a child to accept sexual abuse as well. You know, it used to be legal. Well, I think it still technically is to spank your kids. Some people will still, like, you know, swat their kid at the store and shit. But, you know, abuse in and of itself, if you were to do that to an adult human, you'd be in jail. Yeah, sure, I get a lot of parents are like, well, what are you supposed to do? There's got to be a solution between beating them to death and letting them get their way, letting them walk all over you. Yeah, and it's been happening for a while. Nowadays it's called gentle parenting, but it's literally just being a parent. You know, right around when hey Lily, I have 2 cats. I have Martina and Lily. They're both really sweet. They like to hang around mommy. I want to just reiterate that it's not okay to hit your kids. It's not okay to marry them off if they get pregnant. It's not okay to marry them off if they get pregnant from rape. It's not okay to force children to give birth. It's disgusting. And you're asking for another cycle of abuse to happen. Like, people are so fucking nonchalant about how they want people to keep having, like, have more kids, have more kids. Why aren't we having more kids? It's so stupid. If you are not financially and emotionally prepared for a child, you do not need to have one, much less 9. I mean, fuck, dude. That little 5-year-old, she never actually saw him as her son because she was fucking 5. She saw him as her little brother. She had another child with her husband when she was 30. Thankfully, not her rapist. At least one happy ending. Happy-ish. I hope. I mean, nobody really knows about her because she never really gave interviews. Which I definitely understand. But children, that's another reason why children need to be educated on consent. Sex education is so important. You don't have to, like, get into the nitty-gritty dick and pussy with a child. All you have to do is tell them, hey, if, you know, someone goes inside your body boundary, you know, kind of like there's a little invisible 1 or 2 inch line around my body, and, you know, anyone who enters my personal bubble, we all know the personal bubble, right? And people, I don't understand why people have to violate children's. It's like a fun game to them to make children uncomfortable. But that's another reason why we have to teach consent. Like I said, the whole sex education thing, it doesn't have to be nitty-gritty. It just has to be like, hey, don't let people, if you feel uncomfortable with, or someone goes inside your body boundary, and you don't like, well, just let me know. Or here's another way to see if your child is having problems. Ask them about any games they've played recently. Because a lot of perpetrators like to, they like to kind of frame it as a game. They want to make it fun for the kid, basically. I want to say this to predatory pedophiles right now. I know that there are pedophiles out there that, like, you loathe the idea of contact or whatever, like the whole non-offending maps. Oh, if you don't know what a map is, that's a minor attracted person. We'll get into that too. That kind of goes into the Bubblegum pink section. Maybe on a later time. Predatory pedophiles like to frame things as a game. They want things to be fun for the kids. And I would like to say to any predatory pedophiles who think that this is okay, it is not. Definitely not. This will scar any child because they will grow up. They will get that context and they will understand what happened. And that will fuck them up. That will fuck them up dearly. Some kids, like myself, are able to block shit out, like, automatically. Because I was abused so young, I basically developed automatic dissociation and like almost amnesia. But I mean, it's all there. Like, I do therapy and EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. I actually remembered. I do that. It's a therapeutic method that uses your somatic system. So pressure points on your body, basically, to help reprocess those memories and put them in the past where they belong. I mean, you still remember that stuff. It just makes it a lot easier to handle. The problem with EMDR is if you are a chronic abuse survivor, there's a lot that you have to process. And there's new memories that pop up once the old ones are processed. So it's just like a never-ending conveyor belt of horrific memories. That's, I guess I want to end it now. If you've been through something like this, if you have been abused, I am so sorry. Like, there's no words that I could say to actually comfort you. But you know, a lot of people say it gets better, and I know for a lot of us it doesn't. And unfortunately, we're the ones who have to carry that burden of violence that people put onto us. And that's not fair. And if you have been through this, you need to hear this. It's not your fault. It never was. You didn't do anything wrong. None of that was your fault. Okay. I think if you actually like stuck through the whole thing, thanks, I guess. Have a good day. I'll see you later.